everybody. Gina Mizell here, Moran also here. We are still at Research Stadium following Oregon State's 34-24 victory over Oregon in the Civil War. The Beavers break an 8-game losing streak to the Ducks. They rally to win this game. They scored 20 straight points to close this one out. We just talked to players and coaches. They were obviously very excited. What's your initial reaction to this type of game?
Yeah, the 21 consecutive carries, I think. The way when the weather turned. At one point, Oregon State was down 10 points, 24-14, and obviously the way they rallied back, were able to get the wind at their back for most of the fourth quarter, and they just ran and ran and ran. Ryan Nall, Marcus McMarion, Artavis Pierce, and Oregon just couldn't stop them. Yeah. And there was a sense, too, almost that it was inevitable once Oregon State got the ball back with a little bit over 7 minutes to go. Yeah. They'd had drives of more than 6 minutes a couple times already at that point. Marcus McMarion obviously begun to master taking the play clock all the way down to 5 seconds, and that paid off. And it was a huge win, one of the more jubilant post-game press conferences we've ever been a part of. What was your biggest takeaway there?
Yeah,
a lot to digest.
Yeah, I mean, all of that, and Ryan Nall finishes with 31 carries, 156 yards, 4 touchdowns, including the 3 on those 20 straight unanswered points to first of all get Oregon State within 3 points, then to take the lead, and then to basically close out the game. But yeah, what you mentioned as far as that once the defense forced a punt and Oregon State got the ball back, you're kind of like, wow, they're going to continue to just keep running the ball. Right. And they did, and they churned 5 more minutes off the clock. I believe it was 5 minutes and 17 seconds to cap that game. But you look at Marcus McMarion's line too. I mean, he's gotten more and more comfortable in recent weeks as far as keeping the ball on zone reads, and he had a huge 33-yard score on their drive that ended up giving Oregon State the lead. And then I think the defense deserves a lot of credit too, because Oregon looked like they were getting in a rhythm there in the third quarter when they went up by 10 points, and Justin Herbert made a couple of really nice throws. Royce Freeman, he finishes with over 100 yards on the ground, so the Ducks offense was rolling a little bit, and then they were able to shut them down and help Oregon State's offense come out and put together the drives that they needed to win the game.
The big one was for the Oregon State defense. When Oregon got the ball back up 7 points, there was a sense that if they scored a touchdown, it was probably going to be too much for Oregon State to overcome, given just what their offense has been this season.
Right.
They held them to a field goal. Devin Chappelle nearly had an interception that basically
Dwayne Williams too. He almost had one on that same drive.
There were a lot of near misses like that. At one point, Oregon State actually pooched the ball, and actually recovered it, but were called offside. Somewhat of a controversial decision there to make them re-kick it, and Oregon got the ball back. But actually, on that pooch play, that was the first of 3 consecutive drives in which the Oregon State defense stopped them, forcing 2 punts and then the ultimate turnover on downs to end the game. So you're right. It wasn't. The defense still has room to improve, a lot of room to improve going into next season, but they made big plays when they had to.
Yeah, as you mentioned, obviously, the most excited press conference, maybe only rivaled by the Cal win, because that was such a dramatic overtime victory, and that broke the Pac-12 losing streak. But obviously this game meant a lot to the players and the coaches, and with closing out the season with 2 consecutive wins, a lot of young guys coming back. We've talked a lot about the seniors that are leaving, but there are still a lot of key pieces coming back for this team. What do you think this type of victory can do moving forward now for a group that's experienced some success and is now trying to, they talk about flipping the program, and is this the beginning stages of that starting?
Yeah, it's interesting because now, last year, the Oregon State did obviously not win the Civil War. They had that dramatic comeback to make the game close in the second half. A lot of players, coaches talked about carryover from that to the offseason, where they obviously improved, even though the win total didn't increase by that much. You expect something similar to that this coming off season too, but now there's going to be expectations also. They beat 2 of the teams that really struggled in the Pac-12, meaning Arizona and Oregon over the past 2 weeks, but now...
And Cal too.
And Cal, even dating back to that point, but they were in games, there was steady improvement, and now you look at Gary Anderson's trajectory at Utah State. That 3rd season was when they got a winning record and really started to kind of get some momentum moving. So I think it's going to be interesting now to see this team. Yes, their comp is going to increase, but now the expectations are probably going to increase because there's going to be a want for steady development throughout the course of this coming offseason.
Yeah, well, the season does end tonight for Oregon State with a huge Civil War victory, 34-24. The Beavers finished 4-8, 3-6 in Pac-12 play, but our season never really ends. We We'll have plenty of coverage coming up throughout the week and throughout the off season. There's still lots to digest. Who's going to play quarterback next year? How does this team keep developing? All kinds of things. So until then, stay right here on OregonLive.com and keep reading our stuff every single day there in the Oregonian. And we're going to go write some stories right now. So for Danny Moran, I'm Gina Mizell. We will catch you next time.